Hi, my name is Paige Armstrong and I am 14 years old. I'm a cancer survivor and I'm so thankful to God for bringing me and my family through that illness. One of the many blessings that's come out of me having had cancer is an awesome opportunity through an organization called Make-A-Wish. I'd like to take a few minutes and share that story with you.
This is a picture of me just before my 11th birthday on my rollerblades, just enjoying being a kid. I had no idea my life was about to change forever. In May 2001, I had a recurring pain in my right leg that the doctors thought was a sprained ligament, but it got worse, and eventually I had to have an MRI. This revealed a tumor, which was ultimately diagnosed as Ewing sarcoma. I spent much of the next year in the hospital with extensive chemotherapy and a major surgery to replace part of my leg bone. During my time in the hospital, I heard about Make-A-Wish. Many of my new friends had been granted wishes, and they told me how wonderful it was. Their whole families had been able to escape the hospital and forget the illness for a while. Some of these friends didn't make it much longer, and I know the memories they made were priceless to everyone. Then my nurses and doctor talked to me about receiving a wish. I already knew I wanted to try to become a Christian recording artist, so I decided I would like to go to Nashville, if it would be possible, and make a recording in a studio. The Make-A-Wish team worked on this for me for many months, and they never asked me to pick something else. They were committed to granting my wish. Well, the big day arrived, and my mom and dad and I were picked up at 4 a.m. for a limousine ride to the airport and our flight to Nashville. We arrived at our hotel and were soon greeted by a Make-A-Wish volunteer. This is Kelly. She has become a great friend. We still email each other, and she continues to give me pointers on how to speak correctly. That is, with a southern accent, of course. Well, next my parents and I were introduced to Nashville in all its great musical heritage. That's me, sitting at the piano that used to belong to someone named Elvis. I think he was popular back in my parents' day. We visited the Country Music Hall of Fame and a place called the Grand Ole Opry. I really got hooked on country music, especially Brad Paisley and Steve Azar. We had lunch on a riverboat named the General Jackson, and saw a great country music show, and we had a tour of homes of famous singers, musicians, and celebrities. I felt like a star myself with all this wonderful treatment, and my real wish hadn't even started yet. On the morning of my studio appointment, we were picked up by a limo with leopard skin seats. I could definitely get used to this. When we arrived at Sunset Boulevard Studios, we were introduced to what was to be our home for the next 2 days, Studio A. We spent 13 hours each day here, working continually, just stopping long enough for a quick sandwich. First, I sang the 2 songs I wanted to record, and then the rest of the day, the producer worked with my very own musicians and backup singers to create a special arrangement just for me. They all included me in their creative decisions and treated me just like one of their team members. They were wonderful. As I met each person I was working with, I soon realized that their names are on many of the CDs in my own collection of Christian recordings. What a great honor to work with such talented people. Jamie, my producer, was just awesome. It was amazing to see him direct and work with other people's ideas to create and finish the product. Bobby, the engineer, was able to save everything and put it together perfectly. I think he said we had over 70 tracks when we were finished. This is Chance, one of the backup vocalists. He gave me a box full of CDs he had gotten donated to me from different Christian recording labels. Jamie told me that many of the backup vocalists in Nashville are better than the people who they accompany. These singers were fantastic. It was amazing to see them come up with the right background for me. The second day was just me and the producer and engineer. I was in the recording booth to record the final vocals along with the wonderful arrangement which had been prepared for me. When I got to the final sessions, they turned the lights down almost dark so I wouldn't have any distractions and could get completely into what I was singing. Before I left the studio, I got to sign the wall. This is where all the people who record there sign their names. I saw a lot I recognized. I bet they will wonder who Paige Armstrong is. I got a new Stetson to cap off my trip. This dream come true was so much more than I ever could have hoped for. The people, the experience, and even the aftermath. My dad took my picture for a CD jacket. We paid the license fees and had my recordings made into real CDs. I was especially impressed that they even were wrapped in that cellophane wrapper that everyone hates. How cool is that? The story hasn't ended here. I and some friends have a group called Kids for Kids. We perform at children's hospitals and fundraisers. I've had radio interviews and many opportunities to speak and sing to young people and to help raise money for my church and school and for Make-A-Wish. I have truly been blessed by the generosity which has come through Make-A-Wish, and I hope I can help give something back so other kids can continue to enjoy this wonderful opportunity.
That is the best way I can think to thank them.